How do I motivate my teenager? What if you can get your teenager out of bed in the morning without nagging? Thanks for joining me again at my Let's Explain Learning platform. And before I jump into how to get your child motivated, remember to click that subscribe button and also have a look at my playlist, Let's Explain A to Z, everything a parent needs to know when it comes to talking to their child about dating, sex and relationships. I think you will find that quite helpful. So let's look at today's topic. How do I motivate my teenager? So I want you to think about a nice big tree somewhere that you can see that has good fruits and leaves, and it's a nice beautiful tree. Now we know a big tree that is beautiful has good solid roots, all right, in the ground. So it's steady and it actually has sprouted nice roots. Now what happens is when clients come to me and they ask that I help the teenager get motivated, or the teenager is struggling with anxiety when it comes to maths or stuff like that, we are actually looking at the fruits, all right? Things that is happening that is not fruitful on the tree, okay? And we tend to want to cut that off from our kids to say, okay, with this tactic of doing maths, that's going to fix it. If you have attitude and you are rude or you curse or steal or whatever, this is the tactic and strategy that we're going to use as parents to get the kids in line, okay? All those are focusing on the fruits of the tree, all right? So that's good and well, and I do teach tactics and strategies and principles and stuff like that. But I want us to look at the roots, all right? So when a teenager comes to me, the parents think I'm going to help them out with all these things, but that's just working at the top level. I like going down to the roots. And the roots for our kids and especially our teenagers is they are lacking vision. All right, they don't know, they're struggling as teenagers. They don't know what their identity is. Teenagers struggle to fit in and make sure where they fit into the world, and that's quite common. And we as parents need to help our kids to start finding themselves, helping them to see who am I, and what do I want to stand for? What do I like in life? What do I don't like in life? What do I want to be one day? But it's not just about our future and our careers. It's about being in the world and what you really want. And most of the teenagers do not know what they really want. And that's okay. And that is where we as parents, or where I specifically jump in and help parents to help them focus on what do their kids really, really want. Because when we can figure that out, we work on that vision, kids will be motivated to do the things that's not fun. Think about it. When you are motivated to do something and you have that clear vision of, let's say you want to run a marathon, all right? It's not fun getting up every morning and going for the exercise. And it sounds like fun the first day, but keeping on doing it every day, you need a lot of motivations to keep on doing that. Now, if you don't have a big enough vision to go and run that marathon, I'm sure after a month, maybe even after 2 weeks, you won't be motivated to get up again. So we want that motivation. So if we want our kids to be motivated to do schoolwork, we need to have that vision greater than school, all right? Greater than just going to do the maths. And the struggle is with teenagers, they just think on what's going to be fun now. They don't think long term. So we need to inspire them to think a little bit further, to say, what do you really want? What do you want to want out of life? How do you see yourself? And now we need to help them make that internal and focus and get really passionate about that dream of what they really want. Because when they have that, when the emotions connect with that dream, so that's one very important thing, because you as parent, it's not about your dream for your kids, it's about their dreams. So when they connect with that vision, they have a big enough why. And I'm sure you have heard it before. If you have a big enough why, you will figure out the how. And that's where the how will be worked out. That's where the tactics and the strategies and stuff will come into play. But we need to start focusing on the vision or the goals at the bottom. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to install? So the first exercise for this week that I want to give you specifically is to focus a bit when you talk to your teenager and look at what they are saying and how their speech are specifically when they talk to you, how they are explaining themselves when they do something or when they want something. Now, we normally say, and I get that a lot of with the teenagers I work with, they would say, like the teenager I had today in my office, he said, well, I don't want that. Okay, so he doesn't want to be rejected. So he said, I don't want to be rejected. Now that's common for kids, all right, especially teenagers. They don't want to be rejected. They don't want the one to be left alone, left out. Okay, so that's what he said. That's exactly what we're talking about, that I want you to focus on. That's a not goal. That's what he doesn't want that, but that's not a goal. So I said, what do you really want? And that's where we need to help our teenagers to start thinking, all right? Encourage them to think a little bit more about what they really want. So as I was working with this teenager, he was actually getting to what he really wants. It's not just he wants acceptance. He wants a good friend. He wants somebody that will have his back no matter what. And as we got into deeper, we saw that he was really feeling lonely. And if we don't want to be lonely, how are we going to figure that out? And how is he going to create a vision? So does he see himself in a big crowd? And he was thinking he won't be alone in a big crowd. So as we were digging into all of these things, he just realized he wants some friends, but he wants to have fun with a few friends doing the things he loves. So he started picturing himself doing mountain biking with these two friends of his, and where they're enjoying and laughing and doing fun things together. And when they are talking in school, that same friend has his back. And he started to envision that picture. He was smelling the forest where they were mountain biking, and he was laughing, and he was really creating that clear picture with me. And where he came in and he was depressed and overwhelmed, he was walking out with this vision. And then we said, okay, now how are we going to get that vision? What do you think? How are you going to get that, friends? And so then we looked at the little things that he was doing every day that was hindering him to get those friends. All right. So look at your kid this week when he's talking. Is he explaining a not goal? Okay. Is he saying, I don't want this? Then go a little bit deeper and ask, what do you really want? Okay, guide them a bit, get them talking. Now, the next tip that I want to give you is, if you want your teenager to start talking, ask good questions. Go into my Let's Explain A to Z section. There's a video about questions, Q for questions. And there I explain the power of a fantastic question, getting our kids to think. Most of the time we're fighting or preaching to our teenagers saying, you must do this and get out of bed and remember to do this and you can't do that. And we're preaching and we don't inspire. And a good question truly inspire our teenagers. All right. So ask questions. Ask them, how do they feel about that? What do they think about that? And get them really to explore the opportunities that's out there, because there's truly a lot of opportunities out there. All right, so the first tip that I want you to take away, look for the not goals this week. All right, don't just focus on the tactics. That's the second one, on the leaves and the fruit. Let's go down to the vision, the fruits. All right, and then lastly, ask good questions. Get your child to think. All right, and when they start thinking, get them to dream about that future that I want. And I promise you, your child will be a little bit more motivated, because they're doing it for something better than just for the sake of going to school to get out of bed. Then I also want to suggest Dr. Paul's Jenkins video about how to motivate a lazy teenager. Now, Dr. Paul is my mentor and coach, and I think he's fantastic. He has brilliant tricks and tactics for parents, and fantastic principles of parenting and of positive parenting. So I encourage you, I'll add the link here below in the description. Go and watch that video, and I hope to see you next week at my Let's Explain learning platform. Thank you.